Good afternoon and welcome to this little video exploring my very old collection of Star Wars trading cards made by the company Topps. I don't think it says Topps on the cards, but that is the country that made them. As you can see, they are very old now, a bit tatty, well used. I don't regret ripping them out of their packets 43 years ago. It would have been probably early 1978. I don't regret doing that because I've never been someone that's wanted to keep things in packets to protect them. That's never been something that I've been interested in. Now, Star Wars, the film, came out in America on, when was it? 25th of May 1977. But back then, it's different now, but back then films released in America didn't come out in the UK and other countries till much later. So I actually watched Star Wars for the first time in the cinema on March the 21st, 1978. Star Wars having come out in London in December 1977 and elsewhere in the country in January 1978. So these cards, I wouldn't have bought these cards until after March 1978. Now, I say these cards, but these are not the original cards I had. I had a little accident at school. I'm still undergoing therapy to get over it. But basically I took my Star Wars cards out of my pocket whilst on a lunch break, and I took them out of my jacket pocket that was hanging up with loads of other kids' jackets. I think you know what's coming next. Once I had finished looking through them with some other kids, comparing mine to theirs, I thrust them back into what I believed was my jacket pocket. It wasn't. And to this day I still don't know whose jacket pocket it was. I went to the house of some twins after school, and the main thing that we were going to be doing was playing swaps with our Star Wars cards, and I didn't have any to do it with. Disaster. And I do remember thinking, I wonder if they'll feel sorry for me and give me some of theirs. But by and large, 7-year-olds, though not evil, my 7-year-old isn't evil, they do, however, tend to think of themselves. So there was no way, of course, that they were ever going to give me any of their cards and feel sorry for me. So they didn't. They just swapped cards between themselves and I sat and watched. But from that day onwards then I had to then build up the collection again. So still within 1978. I didn't buy these in like 2005 or something, you know. Still in 1978 I built up the collection again. And ended up with roughly the same number of cards Within this pack, I still have some doubled up cards. Cards that I have more than one of. But I don't know any 7-year-olds now that are willing to do swapsies with me. So I'm stuck with these doubles and I'll never get any more. Well, I suppose I could. There's always ways to buy these things online now, isn't there? But it's not the same thing. Oh, did I see another? I thought I saw another C3PO just then. Perhaps not. My favourite cards are always the ones that have stormtroopers in, because as I've said on a previous video, stormtroopers are my favourite character, even though they're not really a character. They are my favourite thing in Star Wars. So anything that shows Star Wars stormtroopers in, I absolutely loved. The other thing that I never actually did is that on the back, oh, that's a bad example. On the back, part of a picture, these would make up a picture of a character. Now I think it's a bit, these pictures that I see on the back, they're a bit sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine, or maybe a Tusken Raider, something like that. All the pictures I've seen. Oh, that's definitely a bit Chewbacca though there, isn't it? Must be. Unless it's Obi-Wan's beard. I don't think it is. But I know roughly what the picture is. That's definitely a Tusken Raider on the back there, isn't it? But also some of them have movie facts. I don't recall ever reading any of these movie facts. Let's pick one out and read it just for a laugh. Movie facts. Producer Gary Kurtz describes the special effects used in Star Wars. We developed a computer to control the camera. Movements were programmed to give the feeling of a ship flying. Incidentally, the passes the fighting ships made at each other during our air battle scenes were determined from patterns we recorded by splicing together sequences of dogfight scenes from 50-year-old war movies. I knew that, but I bet that there are some facts in here that I haven't read elsewhere. I'll tell you what, let's go for it. Let's read another one. I'm going to do it. Let's do this thing. Star Wars was filmed partially in Tunisia, but mostly in England. Director George Lucas built approximately 30 sets on the 8 rented stages of EMI Elstree Studios and practically took over the whole place. As early as 3 months before any filming began, the crew had raided stages, technical facilities, scene shops, etc., transforming the movie studio into the planets and space stations seen in the film. Now we in England we pronounce Tunisia slightly different. Tunisia, whereas in America, I think they say Tunisia, don't they? No, Tunisia. That's it. I think it's Tunisia in America, whereas we pronounce it Tunisia. Tunisia. Now, when you first get a crease or a bend in a card, it's immensely frustrating and annoying, but once the whole card is covered in creases, it becomes charming then. A bit like an oak table. You get your first dent in an oak table. It's a horrific nightmare. Once it's covered in dents and scratches, it's then a beautiful antique. it has character then. One dent or scratch or bend or crease is not character, does not denote character. Loads and loads do. Oh, here's one of those special Stormtrooper. That would have been one of my favourite cards back in the day. The more Stormtroopers in the scene, the better for me. Now I know with the recent sequel Star Wars films, Topps released cards for them, basically. I could have got them, but it's, the reason why these cards are so important to me is because I got them in 1978. Not because I got them on Amazon. But you never know, I might still do it. Maybe. R2-D2 there. Pursued by Jawas. Yeah, each card has a little line on it. R2-D2 is loaded aboard. A day of rejoicing. These little phrases seem so simple, like they're from a very innocent world. This is interesting. I don't know what's going on here. Ben with the lightsaber. Now, S-A-B-R-E is how we spell saber in England. Okay. In America, I believe it's S-A-B-E-R, which is why a lightsaber is light and then S-A-B-E-R. That's how I always write it down, the American way, even though I'm not American. With no gap as well, but for some reason this has been written as if it's been written by someone who has no idea what Star Wars is. And also written by someone from England as well. Solo Blast Say Stormtrooper. See, it's such a simple way of wording it. You wouldn't get that now. Life's not as simple as it was back then. Which is what people in the 70s said about the 30s, of course. Everything is relative. A mighty explosion. Oh, that's two at the same time. Put it right next to each other. I wonder if I put them right next to each other in 1978. I'm still waiting to get rid of one of them. Rebel pilot prepares for the raid. Where has R2-D2 gone? Threatened by sand people. .3PO fools the guards. A daring rescue. Strangely, I don't actually know how many cards I have here. That is actually, I seem to remember that as being my least favourite card, simply because I didn't find old Ben particularly exciting. So just him, with plain background. So it would have been like a picture of my grandfather back then, basically. It's not tremendously exciting. It's got a good back to it, though. beautiful white. Looks great. Advance of the Tuscan Raider. Probably no surprise to anyone that they used elephants for the banthas. Oh, that's really bad. Look at that. That's not got long to live. I'll have to keep that one tucked away in the middle. Where he's, oh, look at that, there's another double. Look, I didn't notice that. So that one's better half. I'll have to properly go through them, count them all, see what doubles I've got. I keep this set permanently on my bookcase in the lounge. It's the only thing on the bookcase that isn't a book. Special privileged position. Oh, I always like this as well. The scene that explains why everyone is scared of stormtroopers, because after the first 5-10 minutes of the film, the stormtroopers of course look a joke for the entire length of the 3 films. But the opening scene, they look ruthlessly efficient. And that efficient opening scene is enough to make stormtroopers scary for 44 years. And these guys all got taken out quite easily. And I think only a couple of stormtroopers were shot in the entrance. And all these guys just fell like pins. Jawas. Oh, here's another one of my favourites. No, not that guy. This one. Great action shot. I seem to remember actually thinking, trying to decide which was my favourite card many years ago, and it was either one with lots and lots of stormtroopers all lined up, or it was often this one. And back in those days, I couldn't watch Star Wars. It took a long time before you could watch it on TV. So my only way to experience the film was to look at these cards. So I would look at this and just, try to remember the scene that I saw in the cinema and try to make the whole scene come alive in my head. Because that's a great action. The only thing that's missing really is you might want to see the stormtroopers a bit closer up. They're a bit in the distance. But apart from that, that's a great shot, I think. Really good. Yeah, so basically it's a toss-up between these two. It's my favourite card. I can't decide. Anyway, I think I'll leave this for now. I'll probably do videos of my Empire Strikes Back sticker collection and Return of the Jedi sticker collection, because by the time The Empire Strikes Back came around in 1980, cards were a thing of the past. It was all about stickers. Now we seem to have gone back to cards again, from what I see on sale, more so than stickers. Anyway, there you go. I'll leave you on that scene. What a beautiful scene there. Look. It's beautiful. Thank you very much for watching.